There has been some major Britney Spears news. We've just learned that her father, Jamie Spears, had his leg amputated 1 month ago. Now, Britney is reportedly hoping to mend their relationship and the relationship that she has with the rest of their family. So after everything that's happened, there still might be hope for a father-daughter reconciliation. Sources with direct knowledge said that Jamie had a massive infection in one of his legs, one that landed him in hospital for weeks. He had 5 unsuccessful surgeries to try to contain the infection, and then doctors decided that the only way to proceed was amputation. At the moment, it's been said that Jamie is not doing well. He's had other ailments and has been downcast amid the growing criticism coming after the release of Britney's memoir. Apparently, he thinks all the backlash against him has been terribly unfair. From his point of view, he is not the bad guy in Britney's story, considering that he was the one who moved from Louisiana to care for her back in 2007. Lots of people who were involved back then do say that Jamie might have saved Britney's life, but with everything that's going on right now, no one could have guessed that Britney would actually want him back in her life. According to TMZ, she has softened towards her dad recently. There have been times when she said she misses her dad, and once she even talked about sending him money to help him out. As for Jamie, sources say there is nothing that he'd rather have than a reconciliation with his daughter, and he harbors no ill will. There's also been more evidence coming out that says Britney is trying to mend some of these strained family relationships. She invited her mom Lynn to LA over the weekend for her 42nd birthday party, and apparently they got along great. They have also been talking on the phone for weeks and are forging a new relationship. Britney also invited Jamie Lynn Spears to the party, although she was out of town and she couldn't be there. Even her brother Brian joined in the fun over the weekend. Now, this news might be a little hard to believe for fans that have been following along with Britney's journey. It's also hard to ignore all the horrific revelations that came out in her memoir. In The Woman in Me, Britney gave us a lot of inside information about her family, and some of it was really shocking. She discussed her strained relationship with her mother Lynn, and this is how we find out more about her childhood and how that is linked to her drinking history. She said she started drinking alcohol with her mother when she was in the 8th grade, which is obviously enough to raise a few eyebrows. But the issue here is that she didn't just have a sip of wine, it was apparently a lot more than that. Britney said, "For fun, starting when I was in the 8th grade, my mom and I would make the 2-hour drive from Kentwood to Mississippi, and while we were there we would drink daiquiris. We called our cocktails toddies." Britney loved that she was able to drink with her mom every now and then, but she said that the way they drank was nothing like how her father did. When he drank, apparently he grew more depressed and he shut down, whereas they became happier, more alive, and more adventurous. While it sounds like she was a lot closer to her mom, you do have to question that kind of behavior and just how young Britney was introduced to drinking. It's actually really sad when you think about it. Britney and her father Jamie also have a very complex relationship, and he became one of her biggest critics. In her memoir, Britney shared the harsh judgment that she constantly received from him. She said, "If I thought getting criticized about my body in the press was bad, it hurt even more from my own father. He repeatedly told me I looked fat and that I was going to have to do something about it." And Britney endured Jamie's criticism as a young child too. She said, "Feeling like you're never good enough is a soul-crushing state of being for a child. He drummed up that message into me as a girl, and even after I'd accomplished so much, he was continuing to do that to me." Jamie's troubling opinions about Britney worsened when she was under the conservatorship. In 2008, her father was named as one of the several individuals who could make important decisions for her, and when she entered the conservatorship, her bodily autonomy was stripped away. She had to grow out her hair and get back into shape, and for the next 13 years, Jamie would remain in control of much of her life up until his suspension in 2021. In 2008, Britney was placed on a psychiatric hold and later under a conservatorship by her father. In her book, she explained exactly what she was going through at the time. She wrote, "Shaving my head and acting out were my ways of pushing back. Under the conservatorship, I was made to understand that those days were over. I had to grow my hair out and get back into shape. I had to go to bed early and take whatever medication they told me to take." Britney revealed that she felt infantilized under the conservatorship and she lost her passion for music. She said she became more of an entity than a person on stage. Quote, "I had always felt music was in my bones and my blood. They stole that from me." Then we come to one of the best lines in the book, where she says, "Think of how many male artists gambled all their money away, how many had substance use or mental health issues. No one tried to take away their control over their bodies and money. I didn't deserve what my family did to me." For anyone who's followed Britney's story over the years, this memoir really feels like a breath of fresh air, and there's just so much that we didn't actually know about her life. In 2007, she infamously shaved off her hair and attacked a photographer's car with an umbrella, and following that incident, she was then placed under the conservatorship. Her father, Jamie, served as one of her conservators. After 13 years, she fought to end the conservatorship and told an LA court that she simply wanted her life back. She's now opened up up about that breakdown and exactly what was going through her head at the time. The incident involved Britney storming into a California beauty salon and completely shaving her head. She explained at the time that shaving her head was an act of defiance. Quote, "I'd been eyeballed so much growing up. I'd been looked up and down, had people telling me what they thought about my body since I was a teenager. Shaving my head and acting out were my ways of pushing back." Of course, she said she was later forced to grow her hair out and take medication after being placed in the conservatorship, and that's really when the control started. She wasn't allowed to drastically change her appearance because her father knew every single thing that she did. And in what is now one of the craziest and most talked about parts of the book, Britney also spilled her biggest secret of all. She recalled her days on the Mickey Mouse Club where she met Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling, and Justin Timberlake, who she later formed a romantic relationship with. She talked about everything from their first kiss as a Janet Jackson song was playing in the background and the difficult decision that she had to make in 2000 after learning that she was pregnant. She said, "It was a surprise, but for me it wasn't a tragedy. I love Justin so much. I always expected us to have a family together one day. This would just be much earlier than I'd anticipated." But she said that Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said they weren't ready to have a baby in their lives and that they were way too young. Britney revealed that if the decision had been left up to her and her alone, she never would have gone through with it. But she only did so because Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father. Looking back at that experience, she said, "To this day, it is one of the most agonizing things she has ever experienced in her life." And all of this somehow ties into her infamous VMA performance in 2003, the night that Madonna shared her onstage kiss with Britney and Christina. After they all kissed, the camera then cuts to Justin Timberlake's stern expression, and you can tell that he was really upset. At this time, the two of them were in a relationship, but no one knew about the pregnancy that was slowly coming between them. But the double kiss eventually became one of the most notorious performances of all time, and it's clear that Britney has always been pushing the envelope when it comes to displaying her sexuality. It's just another reason she's been able to maintain her icon status for so long. For 13 years in her conservatorship, Britney had little to no say in every aspect of her life. She was unable to make financial, physical, and personal decisions that were ultimately all left up to her father. In 2021, her conservatorship was finally dropped, but that trauma didn't just go away overnight. In her memoir, Britney talked about how it really affected her life. She said it stripped her of her womanhood and made her into a child. And she truly believes that if they let her life unfold the way that she wanted it to, she would have found herself in a much better place. Quote, "13 years went by with me feeling like a shadow of myself. I think back now on my father and his associates having control over my body and my money for that long, and it makes me feel sick." A huge portion of her life was controlled by other people, and she believes that she just did not deserve what her family did to her. Britney has gone through so much, and people just don't know the half of it. During the court testimony, while she was fighting for her freedom, she said she had been forced to go to a mental health facility against her will in early 2019. It was only in November of 2021 that she regained control of her multi-million-dollar fortune and various aspects of her life, although the court battle over her legal fees is still ongoing. During recent hearings, things became very contentious when it came to Britney's personal well-being. In January of 2022, her father's attorney requested to unseal all records from the duration of the conservatorship. The singer's attorney, Matthew Rosengard, called this offensive and highly inappropriate. At the time, he said, "We don't think a father who loves his daughter would file to unseal her medical records." Then, to make matters worse, about a year ago, her younger sister Jamie Lynn Spears published a memoir called Things That I Should Have Said. In it, she included certain details of Britney's life that were told from her own perspective, and it seemed like she was trying to paint a negative image of her older sister. Fans were outraged by the book and accused her of attempting to profit off of Britney's name while trying to make her look bad. So it's crazy to think that there might be a reconciliation between these two sisters at some point in time. Even though Jamie Lynn is hated by Britney's fanbase, it seems like they both want to bury the hatchet at this point and get some inner peace. And now that she's put out her memoir and said what she's needed to say, it seems like a good a time as any to turn over a new leaf and try to move on from everything that's happened, no matter how horrible it was.
Coming in at number 10 is her deleted Instagram account. In January of this year, Britney posted one of her infamous Instagram dancing videos, shouting the fact that she changed her name to River Red throughout, and shortly after abruptly deleted her Instagram account. Police were called to perform a wellness check at Britney's house, which seems like a dire reaction for such a minor offense, but the motivation behind the calls was the assumption that this move was made as a plea for help. After the incident, Britney put her Instagram account back up to clarify the situation, explaining that the police had never entered her house, quickly realizing that there was no issue when they arrived and left immediately. Britney continued saying that the whole situation felt like she was being gaslighted by the media, which is portraying her in a poor and unfair light, and going on to ask for privacy and respect moving forward. Britney continued her statement in another post explaining why she left Instagram in the first place, explicitly stating stating that she shut her socials down due to too many people saying she looked idiotic and crazy in her dancing videos. And honestly, deactivating over hurt feelings isn't a new thing at all. In the grand scheme of things, deleting an Instagram account should not generate anxiety, and instead, we should be more accepting of celebrities seeking privacy. Our number 9 spot goes to reports that Sam just couldn't handle her quote erratic behavior anymore. News quickly went public that Britney and her now ex-husband Sam were seen at Joey's Eatery in Los Angeles, where Britney was supposedly acting manic and speaking gibberish and yelling at the waitstaff. A neighboring diner started filming the interactions after Sam allegedly stormed out of the restaurant, having had enough. The video showed Britney muttering to herself at the table before leaving with her bodyguard. Rumors quickly spread that what happened in the restaurant was a bipolar relapse, but that was quickly debunked by Britney, her husband, and staff at Joey's Eatery. This instance is hardly the first time Britney's behavior has been overanalyzed in the context of her mental health, and was not at all cause for public concern, but this has been used as proof that Sam had been at his wit's end with Britney for months. At number 8 is the rumors of her unhealthy lifestyle. In recent months, there have been many concerns and claims from her family that Britney often stays awake for up to 3 days straight, as she quote guzzles Red Bull, Celsius coffee, and dandelion tea. According to Dr. Drew Pinsky, people with mental disorders frequently take on this not particularly healthy habit because they want the euphoria these beverages provide. An unnamed source added that she was abusing caffeine, Adderall, and anything she could get her hands on. Britney did not stand for these allegations and immediately took to her Instagram, posting a meme that read, "In every relationship, there's the person who falls asleep instantly and the other person who lies awake wondering how that's even possible." Underneath the meme, she wrote a lengthy caption disputing the claims about her caffeine addiction. A part of it read, "My mind gets busy sometimes, that can be an easy target to mess with. Anyways, I'm sticking to watermelon juice," which is the weirdest thing ever, but I was told for years that I can't have coffee, and now that I can again, it's my pride. I can't even look at it. She also added that green tea is her prized possession, and that Red Bull is absolutely the worst drink ever, which I tend to agree with. Coming in at number 7 is her refusal to take medication. Allegedly, Britney is not taking her medication, which is said to be essential in stabilizing her mood. An anonymous source says that the star is optioning to subconsciously self-medicate herself with her own cocktail of other substances, in turn exacerbating her mental illness that she's trying to combat. Sources close to Britney also say that instead of her prescribed medication, she's taking meds that quote hype her up, and she's been quote flying up the handle at various times during the day. One source said that they're afraid she's going to pass away. After witnessing these claims, Britney wrote back saying that she takes Prozac for depression, and that's about it, denying the claims of any self-medication. An unnamed source says that she thinks she's perfectly fine, adding that her biggest fear is to be institutionalized again, and she definitely won't let that happen. Coming in at number 6 is her alleged use of substances. According to the Daily Mail, the most reputable source right behind an anonymous one, Britney's ex-husband Kevin Federline and her estranged father are worried about the singer's alleged use of hard drugs and that she might pass away because of it. Federline apparently said that he's been praying someone would make it public and that she wakes up because her behavior is terrifying. She's the mother of my boys. Jamie Spears reportedly added that her estranged daughter may end up the same way as Amy Winehouse, a British singer who passed away at the age of 27, but in recent events, Federline came forward in a statement posted to his Instagram story where he wrote that the Daily Mail's report of the claim against Spears is false and repulsive. Federline added that it saddens his family. In a legal letter sent to the Daily Mail, Britney's attorney Matthew Rosengart denied the reports of the star's alleged use of substances. Afterwards, the Daily Mail assured readers that the claims made accurately reflect the interviews held with Federline, and if so, the intentions behind his actions should be called into question. Coming in at our halfway point is her mental health. There's been much alarm concerning the mental health of Britney Spears from her Instagram posts alone. Fans have theorized that she may be struggling with bipolar disorder, with Britney's family saying that her medical issues are far more complex than what her fans realize. While there has never been any public diagnosis, there is documented evidence that she was treated at mental health facilities over the years. Britney says that she sometimes felt forced into treatment programs while under her 13-year conservatorship, and thus this fact may not be a sign of her deteriorating mental health, but instead an aspect of her mistreatment and reason behind her current vulnerable condition. Britney explained this further in an Instagram post that said that her past will always be a trauma trigger for her, going on to say that there's no way to fix her and that she'll need a miracle for her emotions. Ken Seeley, an intervention expert, weighed in on Britney's social media post saying that she is delusional and that the Instagram videos depict the late stages of mania. Now, Britney's posts are certainly confusing, even disturbing at times, but the discussion surrounding Britney's Instagram posts as they display her perceived mental illness isn't productive. Shaylee Coran, writing for the CBC, said that the discomfort from viewing Britney's Instagram posts come from sheer ableism. This discomfort seems to be treated like it's more important than Britney's autonomy and freedom. This reaction proves that we don't recognize the ways that both misogyny and ableism work in order to hurt Britney in the first place. The current perception of Britney Spears is just one example of our societal failures when it comes to the treatment of mentally ill people. At number 4, her inconsistent thought patterns. Now, we all know that Britney Spears is well known for posting Instagram content bordering on levels of absurdism. Her videos that feature sporadic dance moves and lengthy captions that usually don't make a lot of sense and peppered with emojis are a staple to any follower's feed. And although that's well within her right, concern came after Britney posted a bizarre video where she spoke in a slurred Australian or British accent accent about having a dress she made, explaining the process of having a friend help her sew it. Halfway through, Britney changes the story and says the dress was shipped to her by a company. The video then quickly shifts to her next point, where she warns fans not to call the cops on her for deleting Instagram before darting off screen and running back across the camera before disappearing again to the other side of the room. The video ends with Britney yelling, "Never be a roller coaster." This unusual behavior, coupled with her seemingly inconsistent thought patterns, caused her family to worry about the state of her mental health. At this point in Britney's Instagram career, though, this is nothing fans haven't already come to expect, no matter how unsettling it may be. At number 3 is the prenup blackmail. Before getting married last June, Britney Spears and Sam Asghari signed a prenup agreement which many say was in her favor. The contract stated that any money made before the marriage was protected, meaning that Sam wouldn't see a dime of that toxic money. But after filing for divorce last week, Sam seemed to have some second thoughts about signing this agreement, releasing a threat to blackmail Spears if she does not agree to renegotiate, allegedly saying that if he is not financially compensated for this divorce and waives spousal support and reimbursement for attorney fees, he will leak, quote, extraordinarily embarrassing information about the singer. Many people have begun to speculate that this abrupt change of pace is a show of Sam's true character and intentions with his marriage to Britney, accusing him of just wanting notoriety and an easy into movie work and money, going so far as to call him a parasite, which, given the facts of the matter, I tend to agree with. This is also incredibly worrying, considering going to the length of threatening blackmail is the first red flag for something actually dangerous to happen. Our runner-up is the blowout fights. Earlier this year, TMZ unveiled a documentary delving into Britney's life that suggested that Spears and Asghari's marriage was shaky. The report went so far as to insinuate that the singer and Asghari may have partook in physical confrontations with each other. As well, TMZ said these fights did not end as the divorce announcement got closer. In fact, they got worse, including frequent screaming matches, irreconcilable differences, and their tendency to argue over plenty of fundamental values, all based on accusations of infidelity, which Sam accused Britney of for the theorized reason of, if Britney is found guilty of marital indiscretion, the aforementioned prenup is rendered null and void. So it's suspicious that he decided to do so. TMZ said that a source said the arguments used to be petty, but apparently as of recent, things took a bad turn and their arguments became more serious and real. Coming in at number 1 is the threat of repeating history. It doesn't take long to find Britney's lengthy history of worrisome behavior. After being treated so cruelly while in the public eye for so many years of her life, held under careful scrutiny, unable to escape rumors and disputes about what's best for her, it's no wonder why she may still be acting in a worryingly abnormal way, according to some. The Spears family has expressed their worries that due to Britney's current behavior, she may be at risk for repeating history. It seems that the family believes that Britney is acting in a way reminiscent of how she behaved in the early 2000s, and if preventative measures are not taken soon, she's at risk for hurting herself or others. However, the behavior in question, as mentioned in this list, has often been exposed as falsehoods or defamatory statements, many of which were fed to the media to make people believe that Britney should be back under control of someone in her life, which would be the true threat of history repeating itself.
We know that Britney Spears is getting divorced, but she has been accused of attacking her husband. Keke Palmer finally dumped her boyfriend, and for the better or worse, Riverdale is over. So sit back and grab your popcorn because these stories are next level. So let's dive into our first story. Britney Spears has been accused of attacking her husband. Now, if you don't know all the drama, let me catch you up. Sam Asghari, the husband of pop star Britney Spears, has filed for divorce after 14 months of marriage. Rumors of the couple's allegedly rocky relationship have circulated online since they wed in June 2022. In his filing, Sam cited irreconcilable differences as a reason for the divorce. He is reportedly seeking spousal support from Britney and has requested she pay his legal fees. Petitioner has yet to determine the full nature and extent of the separate property, assets, and obligations of each party, the filing reads. Petitioner reserves the rights to amend this petition or confirm the petition to proof. Now, a source has revealed that Britney and Sam have signed an ironclad prenuptial agreement that tightly guards the singer's estimated $60 million fortune. The prenup states that Sam will receive $1 million per every 2 years of their marriage, with a cap at $10 million after 5 years, according to a source. Sam also waived any claims to Britney's music catalog, and his name isn't on the deed of their shared home. Instead, the pair agreed to put the house into a limited liability company, or LLC. The insider shared that Britney found the finer points of the negotiations overwhelming, but she's thankful to have the agreement in place today. Many people on social media were voicing their opinion for Britney to get a prenup, and everyone is now happy that she did, because could you imagine what a firestorm would come along if she didn't? Now, after the news of the couple's divorce broke last week, Sam posted a statement to social media. After 6 years of love and commitment to each other, my wife and I have decided to end our journey together, he wrote on his Instagram story. We will hold on to the love and respect we have for each other, and I wish her the best always. Shh, happens. Asking for privacy seems ridiculous, so I'll just ask everyone, including the media, to be kind and thoughtful. Britney has not commented publicly about this yet, but now more news has come out. Reliable sources say Sam frequently complained about Britney getting physical with him during their 7 years together. News outlets were told that there had been numerous fights where security had to step in, but in one instance there was no security in sight. Sources say there was also one occasion where Sam said he was sleeping in their bed when Britney flew off the handle and began punching him. Now it's said that Sam did not strike back but was stunned as his wife pummeled him. It's been alleged that the incident went down earlier this year, right around the time Sam was photographed with a black eye and bite marks on his forearm. Paparazzi noticed the bruising and asked Sam about it, but he tried to play it off, asking them not to take photos of him. It's also been revealed that Sam was particularly concerned because Britney had a fascination with knives. Apparently there were knives all over the house, including in their bedroom. Britney, as one source put it, was paranoid someone was going to get her and she needed the knives as protection. The sources added Britney tended to fly off the handle at the smallest light, and that terrified Sam. It said Sam and Britney got into a huge argument a few weeks ago when he accused her of cheating, and that's what triggered his divorce filing. But it appears that it was simply the straw that broke the camel's back, and hopefully they can get all this figured out in a friendly way.
So it looks like Sam Asghari has packed up his belongings and left Britney Spears. But that doesn't mean that he's going to be paying for his new apartment. It's been reported that Britney is the one who's had to foot the bill. According to inside sources, she's paying $10,000 a month for Sam's new place in one of the most high-end apartment buildings in LA, which is apparently the standard cost of a unit in that high-rise. While this might sound generous to some people, it's most likely just a part of Sam and Britney's agreement, and something that they'll need to work out as their divorce goes ahead. I mean, living arrangements are usually the first thing that gets discussed when marriages break apart, and so far this divorce seems to be getting more and more complicated. It was recently reported that Sam's lawyer is going to challenge the prenup, which will almost certainly end with Britney writing him a big fat check, most likely in the amount of several hundreds of thousands of dollars. While the two of them are not exactly on speaking terms at the moment, sources say that they've also come to an agreement on their dogs. Sam's going to get the Doberman Porsche, and Britney is going to get their 4 remaining dogs, including the Australian Shepherd, Sawyer, and the new puppy Snow. Britney said she was a little shocked that her 6-year relationship has come to an end. While we don't know the exact reason for their split, Sam cited irreconcilable differences in a divorce petition filed on Wednesday. He asked that spousal support and payment of legal fees be paid by Britney. In his own post on Instagram, he wrote, "After 6 years of love and commitment to each other, my wife and I have decided to end our journey together. We will hold on to the love and respect we have for each other, and I wish her the best always." He said that asking for privacy seems ridiculous, so he will just ask everyone, including the media, to be kind and thoughtful. For her part, Britney spoke out for the first time since the announcement, and she explained that she just couldn't take the pain anymore. In an Instagram post, she wrote, "I'm not here to explain why, it's honestly no one's business. I've been playing it strong for way too long, and my Instagram may seem perfect, but it's far from reality, and I think we all know that. I would love to show my emotions and tears and how I really feel, but for some reason, I've always had to hide my weaknesses." Britney said she would be as strong as she can for now, and she's actually doing pretty well. Rumors of their marital struggles have been reported in tabloids all throughout this year. The two of them had recently been seen without their wedding rings in public, and TMZ recently put out a documentary trying to expose the reality behind their marriage. They claimed that their relationship was in deep trouble. According to their sources, they were constantly fighting with each other, and many of these fights even turned physical. Apparently they would get into screaming arguments, and their fights were so explosive that security had to intervene. It was also said that over the last couple of months, Sam would not stay at their home very much because of all the chaos going on between them. Of course, when the documentary came out, Sam was one of the first people to speak out against it. He posted a video to his Instagram story slamming anyone involved in the production. He said, "I found it absolutely disgusting for the people who were in her life when she didn't have a voice. They went and told her story like it was theirs. It was absolutely disgusting." He then brought up Britney's years-long conservatorship and said, "How are you going to take the most influential person of her generation, the princess of pop, America's sweetheart, and put her in a prison where her father tells her what to do, what water to drink, who to see, and use her as a money-making machine?" Sam also called out TMZ for putting Britney under the microscope even when she's finally free from her family's control. He encouraged his followers not to fall for these kinds of exploitative stories. In March, his representative once again denied rumors of a rift in their marriage, after speculation that they had decided to take a break. At the time, they were both seen without their wedding rings. Sam's rep had to explain that the two of them were not experiencing marital issues, despite the fact that they were both ditching their wedding bands on multiple occasions. He claimed that his client had just taken off the ring because he was filming a movie at the time. He then shared a photo outside of what appears appears to be a film set on his Instagram story, as well as a selfie on a plane with his wedding ring on display. Unfortunately, speculation about their marriage only amped up over the months, and people on social media have insisted that they actually predicted this divorce.
Jumping right in with our first story, rumors of Britney Spears making an OnlyFans debut. Speculation that the newly divorced singer would try her hand at adult content on the exclusive member-paying service has been a huge topic of discussion in these past few weeks, having people on social media buzzing about the possibility of seeing Spears in a whole new light. Stories began circulating of Britney's alleged OnlyFans prospects after escaping the controlling conservatorship she endured under her father, Jamie Spears, for over 13 years. She gradually began posting more scandalous pictures to her Instagram, many of which featured the songstress showing off her body in outfits that were often topless or just depicted the singer nearly naked. After the divorce from her now estranged ex-husband Sam Asghari made headlines, rumors of future online sex work for Spears became more intense, but this X-rated gossip was already going strong even before the split, with folks assuming it might be something she'd try out, especially after she posted a now viral erotic pole dance routine to Instagram. Turns out that Britney's simply having fun online and working on her cardio and core strength with the pole, since the idea of monetizing her nude photos instead of posting them publicly online for all her followers to see was nothing but a rumor. In fact, she herself hasn't made any comments about whether or not she'd be interested in joining OnlyFans, but instead, people just think she should give it a try, seeing how the naked photos keep appearing on her social media accounts, and many were interested in seeing what content she'd put together for the site. Sources close to Britney have revealed that an OF in her name isn't going to materialize anytime soon. OnlyFans models, even with very little influence, can often rake in a ton of cash, so if Britney, an incredibly famous singer, was to pursue this endeavor, it's no doubt that it would pull huge numbers. The OnlyFans management team obviously saw the money-making potential in Britney's addition to the site because they actually reached out to her prior to any public speculation of her joining. Sources say that OF contacted her team about 6 months ago and kickstarted some initial convos about them working together, but she ended up passing up the opportunity, making it clear that she was not interested in making monetized X-rated content or being at all associated with the explicit side of the platform. It's obvious as to why Britney may not be after money right now, especially in this line of work. She has no need to be, following her incredibly profitable 30-year career, and can absolutely afford to offer these raunchy pics for free. Although some have been yearning to see some OF content from Britney, others are voicing their concern of this encouragement to get her into sex work, considering the volatile condition she's currently in, going through a divorce not just as public as hers but also as tumultuous, with Sam releasing a threat to blackmail Spears if she does not agree to renegotiate the previously agreed upon prenup, allegedly saying that if he is not financially compensated for this divorce in way of spousal support and reimbursement for attorney fees, he'll leak, quote, extraordinarily embarrassing information about her. Alongside the dissipation of her previous support systems from her family, she clearly has larger issues to attend to than entertaining an OnlyFans career.
At number 5, we have Christina Aguilera. The two pop icons actually met back in the early 90s when they were cast members on the set of the all-new Mickey Mouse Club alongside Justin Timberlake and Ryan Gosling, just to name a few. They started off in a friendship, however the two were often put against one another due to the rise in fame they both began to get as they rose to fame in the early 2000s as pop icons. Christina has even talked about how they were always being compared to one another from a very early time in both of their lives. In fact, Christina was just 13 when she joined the Disney show and Britney was 11. One specific moment that many believed caused tension between the two stars was the 2003 VMAs. Britney, Christina, and Madonna shared the stage during their performance, and at the end, both Christina and Britney shared a kiss with Madonna. However, due to the editing, cameras showed Britney locking lips with Madonna before cameras cut to Justin Timberlake, who was Britney's ex, as they broke up a couple months before. This completely removed Christina from the situation and made her seem forgotten about as everyone focused on the ex-couple's reaction. And at the time, their kiss alone caused controversy, as discussed in an interview with Oprah, as she asked Madonna if they were attempting to make a political statement with the kiss before adding she doesn't know if most of America has seen two girls kissing before. Fueled rumors surrounding a secret relationship Madonna had with Britney. And the homophobia wasn't subtle either, as many viewers didn't understand the kiss and thought it was a way to corrupt the minds of their children. Christina talks about this VMAs moment in a 2018 interview with Radio Andy, as called it a cheap shot from the producers due to them cutting out Aguilera and instead jumping to Justin Timberlake. She even stated,
I definitely saw the newspaper the next day. It was like, oh, well, I guess I got left out of that one. Although the two seem to have an off and on friendship throughout the years, Christina appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live just recently where she was asked about Britney's memoir and whether she thinks she'll be a part of the book. Christina said she doesn't know before saying she's hoping everything is all good with her and how the future should be celebrated. But Kimmel asked her if she hopes she's in the book or if she would prefer to not be included in the book, before joking he would want to be featured in the book if he was given the chance. Christina responded by saying, "Let's put it this way, I'd rather it be you than me, so hopefully you'll be in it. You'll make the book. I guess with time, we'll be able to see if Britney actually talks about Christina at all, or maybe even Jimmy Kimmel. That would be a win for him." And for number 4, we have Justin Timberlake. He met Britney back in the early 90s the same way Christina did, and that was on set of the Mickey Mouse Club. And in 1999, as both of their careers were taking off, they confirmed their relationship. And in early 2002, the two called it quits and their relationship turned messy as Timberlake released Cry Me a River, which is about Britney and his claims of her cheating on him. Well, now fast forward to 2023, we now know because of Britney's memoir, she actually was pregnant back in 2000 with Justin's baby. And at the time, both of them were 19 and Britney actually addressed the situation as she stated, "It was a surprise, but for me, it wasn't a tragedy. I love Justin so much, I always expected us to have a family together one day. This would just be much earlier than I'd anticipated." But Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young, and because of that, she did end up getting her pregnancy terminated. And since this news, fans have pieced together her 2003 song Every Time, where she actually hints at the whole pregnancy situation with lyrics like, "I guess I need you baby, and every time I see you in my dreams, I see your face, you're haunting me." And she also sings about her emotions she has felt during this difficult time with one line reading, "My weakness caused you pain and this song's my sorry." And in her music video, you're able to see Britney dressed in all white in a very bright background almost symbolizing heaven, where she enters a hospital room with a woman who just gives birth to her newborn baby. And Justin's response to the song was his song titled Cry Me a River, which many fans think is extremely disappointing, especially with the new information about what Britney really went through, and his song has been a huge success. And according to Britney, after she went through with the termination, Justin attempted to console her by playing his guitar. Although Justin hasn't directly responded to these claims just yet, according to a source who spoke to Entertainment Tonight, he and his wife Jessica Biel are trying to move on. Justin has been focusing on his own family and trying not to concern himself with Britney's memoir. In recent years, Justin has tried to be supportive of Britney from a distance. They dated so long ago, but he still has respect for her. Justin and Jessica want everyone to grow and evolve instead of continuing to bring up the past. However, his comments on Instagram are flooded by Britney supporters, and maybe he will post a public statement, but right now it's unsure. And for number 3, we have anonymous A-list celebrities. Earlier this year, Britney's memoir was reportedly delayed after A-list celebrities were the publisher Simon & Schuster put the book on hold after getting letters from 2 of her famous exes, according to The Sun. A source told the outlet that Britney is brutally honest in the book and how there is a lot of nervous A-listers, and strongly worded legal letters were sent to the publishers from those who fear what she has written potentially about them. The source also did say there's a fair amount of throwing people under the bus as she discusses past relationship, which some of these people are revealed for the first time ever. Although she lived a very public life from a very young age, some relationships and encounters have never been seen or talked about yet, including film stars and those in the music industry. The source continues to say that Britney has wanted this book to tell her truth, which has worried some people. Her book deal is set to be worth $15 million, and this is Britney's way to come out with her full truth after being under her father's conservatorship for more than 13 years and took a huge public battle for him to finally step aside just recently in August of 2021. In our number 2 spot, we have Jessica Biel. She is not only an actress and film producer, but also the wife of Justin Timberlake as they have 2 kids together. Well, the couple got married back in 2012 after they began dating in 2007 and broke up briefly in 2011 before getting engaged and getting married. Well, since all the Britney news came out, it has not only affected Justin himself, but also his family, as her comments on her Instagram have been limited. But a few comments that are available to read write, "Gaslighting Britney really isn't a cute look, Jessica." But others responded to this comment by saying, "Leave Jessica alone." However, an insider that was quoted by The Mirror states how they have no idea if the termination of Britney's pregnancy was ever told to Jessica, because Justin's relationship with Britney isn't one he discusses with his friend, before saying he's not in denial about it, but to him it happened a million years ago. And because Justin is in the spotlight right now, it has caused other issues surrounding Jessica and his relationship to be brought up, with claims of Justin telling other people that his relationship with Jessica was over, even though he was allegedly just cheating behind her back. He actually addressed these cheating rumors back in December of 2019 after he was photographed holding hands with his Palmer co-star. He then blamed his behavior on drinking and apologized to Jessica and their son for the embarrassment that he put them through. Because she is being dragged in the situation, I'm sure if she has to, she will also make a public statement. And for our number 1 spot, we have Jamie Lynn Spears. This former star of the show Zoe 101, who is also Britney's sister, seemed to have been close years ago. But due to the conservatorship and other issues, Britney and Jamie Lynn have both been publicly against one another. And Britney's memoir is not the first in the family, as Jamie Lynn also released a memoir titled Things I Should Have Said that was published in January of 2022. But her memoir was highly criticized, and even Britney dedicated a whole Instagram post of her sharing her thoughts on her sister's book that has since been deleted, and even sent a cease and desist letter to her. Although Jamie Lynn had a promising career, especially with the huge success of Zoe 101, the show was cancelled due to her becoming pregnant at 16 years old. And Britney actually discusses this in her new book, claiming her whole family hid her sister's pregnancy from her, and she actually found out through the media. Although Jamie Lynn has stayed quiet, there's definitely fear going on in the family surrounding what Britney is going to say about them. Especially Jamie Lynn, because of the things she said about her sister in her own book. But Jamie's book didn't receive much support, as many people spotted her memoir being sold at dollar store for $1.25. And the reviews on this book on Goodreads is sitting at 2.5 stars and 958 reviews, with a 1-star review writing, "She can't act, she can't sing, she can't write. Her only talent is enslaving her sister," with the 5-star review writing, "Very interesting. It was refreshing to see her side of things rather than just the rambling of social media reports." It's crazy how much has already been out without the book even being released yet. And with apparent worried celebrities, I'm sure when it actually does come out, it will be headlines after headlines, as Britney is finally able to share her side of her story. I'm sure some celebrities simply haven't responded yet because they're waiting for the full memoir to be released before having any public statements. What do you think?
Number 10, Justin Timberlake. One of the most discussed sections of the memoir is, of course, what really happened between Britney and Justin. After meeting him in the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, they sparked a romantic connection, and Britney fell very hard. Unfortunately, she had to make a difficult decision in the year 2000 after she found out that she was pregnant with Justin's baby. At first, she was actually pretty excited about the whole thing, and in her book she revealed that she'd been planning on starting a family with him at some point, so this was just a little earlier than expected. But it turned out that Justin was not so excited. He told her that they were both too young to be starting a family, and he reminded her that their careers would also need to be put on pause. This revelation might be part of the reason why Justin was reportedly so nervous leading up to the book's release. Britney revealed that if the decision had been solely left to her, she would have gone through with the pregnancy, but she decided to go the opposite route instead. She claims to have only done it because Justin so clearly did not want to be a father, which again is something that people are really shocked about. Number 9, Christina Aguilera. Christina and Britney met the same way most young people in Hollywood meet, while auditioning for a TV show. During the first round of auditions, neither of them made the cut, but they were reintroduced after they were casted later on, and even ended up sharing a dressing room during their time on the show. Sadly, it wasn't long before the two of them were pitted against each other in the media, and they were often made to look like rivals. Britney doesn't give too many details about this in the book, but she did mention that she was very confused stories when Christina was vocally in support of her and Justin getting back together in 2003. She was surprised considering how negative she had been about the situation behind closed doors. She's also completely out of the conversation when she mentions her onstage kiss with Madonna in 2001. Later in the book, Britney actually compliments Christina on her ability to handle nerves when it comes to live TV appearances. She said they would go out together to drink and celebrate, but under the conservatorship, she was to remain sober. She admitted that it would have been nice to let loose with her friends at the time, but now that she is free, hopefully they can get back together. Number 8. Madonna. Madonna's name is mentioned several times throughout Britney's memoir. As a young girl, Britney said she idolized Madonna and did everything to be like her. Once she gained some fame, she was asked to attend award shows. She was bumping into Madonna all around the world. At one point in time, she was staying with Cher when Madonna came for a visit. Britney claims that she found a mentor in her, which gave her the confidence to see her situation with a fresh set of eyes. While rehearsing for the VMAs one year, Britney had the idea to get Madonna involved on her single Me Against the Music. She approached her directly and the rest is history. Reflecting on her past, she says that if she could go back, she would attempt to be her own everything, her own boss, parent, friend, and partner, because that is what Madonna does. She was in awe of how much she refused to compromise her artistic vision and integrity, something that she has carried with her for all these years. Number 7. Colin Farrell. Shortly after her breakup with Justin Timberlake, Britney talked about the moment that she laid eyes on a handsome guy named Colin Farrell. She met him on the set of The SWAT, and since there were no security on set, she was able to just drive up and pop by for a visit. One day while visiting the soundstage, the director spotted her and asked if she would like to watch them film a scene, and that's when Colin approached her. According to Britney, that was when they got into a fling, and they were eventually so attracted to each other that they literally would not separate for that 2 weeks. Colin even took her to the premiere of The Recruit, where she accidentally wore a pajama top instead of normal clothes. She claimed that the fling was short-lived and ended quickly after she realized that she was just using him as a rebound, considering that she was still not over Justin Timberlake. This revelation is a little sad considering that it's one of the most unexpected celebrity couples to ever appear. Looking back, it's really difficult to imagine the two of them together, but it probably would have been a much more healthy relationship than the one that she had with Justin. Number 6. Rachel McAdams. For anyone who might have forgotten, Britney is not just famous in the world of music, but she actually attempted to get an acting career off the ground for a brief period in the early 2000s. After starring in the movie Crossroads, she auditioned for a role in The Notebook, which is crazy considering that she almost played alongside Ryan Gosling in one of the most iconic romance movies ever made. In fact, she got so far into the casting process that it was just down to her or Rachel, and in the end we all know that they went with Rachel, but that is a choice that Britney fully supported. Apparently she started to get cold feet further on into the process, so instead of being in The Notebook, she went on to work on her album In the Zone, putting her creative efforts to good use despite the Hollywood rejection. While we may never know what that movie would have turned out like, it is something that fans would have loved to see. Number 5. Lynn Spears. Britney's parental relationships are covered a lot in the memoir, where she discusses her strained relationship with her mother Lynn Spears, and this is where we find out a lot more about her childhood and how it was linked with her drinking history. She said she started drinking alcohol with her mom when she was in the 8th grade, which is obviously enough to raise a few eyebrows. But the issue here is that she really didn't just have a sip of wine, it was a whole lot more than that. She wrote, "For fun, starting when I was in the 8th grade, my mom and I would make the 2-hour drive from Kentwood to Mississippi, and while we were there, we would drink daiquiris. We called our cocktails toddies." Britney loved that she was able to drink with her mom every now and then, but said the way that they drank was nothing like how their father did it. When he drank, he grew more depressed and he shut down, whereas they became happier, more alive, and more adventurous. While it sounds like she was a lot closer to her mom, you do have to question that behavior, considering just how young Britney was introduced to drinking, which is actually kind of sad. Number 4. Jamie Spears. Britney and her father have had a complex relationship over the years, and he became one of her biggest critics. In her memoir, Britney shared the harsh judgment that she constantly received from him. She said, "If I thought getting criticized about my body in the press was bad, it hurt even more coming from my own father. He repeatedly told me I looked fat and that I was going to have to do something about it." And Britney endured Jamie's criticism as a young child too. She said, "Feeling like you're never good enough is a soul-crushing state of being for a child. He drummed that message into me as a girl, and even after I'd accomplished so much, he was continuing to do that to me." Jamie's troubling opinions about Britney worsened when she was under her conservatorship. In 2008, her father was named as one of the several individuals who could now make important decisions for her, and when she entered the conservatorship, bodily autonomy was stripped away. She had to grow out her hair and get back into shape. For the next 13 years, Jamie would remain in control of so much of her life up until his suspension in 2021. Number 3. Elton John. The Rocket Man himself actually played a pivotal role in in Britney being able to find her musical voice after her struggles with her conservatorship. In her memoir, Britney shared that she hadn't been thinking about recording music until Elton John reached out to her to collaborate on Hold Me Closer, which is a modern duet of his hit song Tiny Dancer, a song that Britney claims to have blasted on repeat growing up. Apparently the remix was actually Elton's idea because he's a huge Britney fan and he's always been a major supporter of hers. Which is amazing because Britney has been hinting for a while now that she is ready to get back to work after she finally became free of her nearly 14-year-long conservatorship. On July 15th, she shared an Instagram video of herself singing a new, edgier version of Baby One More Time while doing laundry, and in the caption she wrote, "I haven't shared my voice in an extremely long time, maybe too long." That post really got her fans hyped up because it sounds like she's getting ready for a massive comeback in music. Number 2, Natalie Portman. Who would have guessed that Natalie Portman of all people would be mentioned in the memoir of Britney Spears? But as luck would have it, this is a very small world and Natalie actually crossed paths with Britney when they were both understudies in the off-Broadway production of Ruthless. They both played a sociopathic child star named Tina Denmark, a role that Britney claims felt close to home for her. Following the split from Justin Timberlake, she co-hosted a New Year's Eve party in New York, which is called Back to the Theater Days. It is difficult to picture Britney Spears on stage doing anything other than singing, but the idea of her also acting in a live show would be pretty cool. So hopefully Britney and Natalie get cast together again and then they can both take to the stage. Between the incredible talent of those two women, there's no doubt that tickets will sell out in a flash. And coming in at number 1, Mariah Carey. Despite being a mega pop star herself, Britney had a fangirl moment when she met Mariah Carey. In the early years of her career, she had been a longtime fan of Mariah's work, and as a kid she would practice performing by making homemade music videos of herself dancing and singing to Mariah's music. She then introduced herself to Mariah by knocking on her dressing room door backstage at an award show that the two of them had been attending. She said that Mariah was a sweetheart and immediately said yes to taking a picture. But in true Mariah fashion, she would not accept anything but good lighting and the right angles for photos. Britney said she did everything that she was told to by Mariah in order to get the right angle. She claimed that she really knows her stuff and the picture looked incredible. Britney knew she had won an award that night, but she said she could not compare her trophy to her picture with her childhood hero.